This is an interesting turn of events where I get early access to a demo that's also in an embargo until a certain amount of time. Never dealt with that before. But without further ado, welcome everyone to this preview of Starfire Eternal Cycle, a new action roguelike. And I'm quite baffled. I saw the trailer for it and it got me intrigued because honestly the animation's pretty badass. It's running off the Unity engine, which seems like it's going through a lot of upgrades as of late. And like I said, this was a demo that was in embargo. So I'm not sure if they're going to release a full demo for everybody to try out. But if you're watching this now, thank you all for watching, and please hit that like and subscribe button. So let's get into this. What is this about? Pretty much your post-apocalyptic storyline where you have to go through waves and waves of enemies. You start off at your first difficulty, with the year being 2149 AD, year 7 of the apocalypse. Lunar fissures spew swarms that devour 97% of the Earth's surface, while the hive neural network pulses beneath the ruins like a grotesque heart. Humanity's last holdout, Arc Dawn Station, flickers behind every energy shields at 3% power. Earth's final heartbeat, the 5-core hive soldiers are siphoning planetary energy to lunar forges. Your gauntlet crackles with leaking charge. That's crazy. But pretty much, you're going through waves and waves of enemies just to get stronger. Now, I'm going to talk about the bad first. First of all, I didn't see really much of a replenishing of your health during each mission. There is replenish stations, but by the time I got to one, like an HP recovery area, that was like, I want to say 30 to 35 minutes into the game. I'm like, what the hell is that all about? I mean, usually when you play a roguelike, you get some type of HP flask in some sorts, but they really make it so that you can't heal until you get to a certain point, or you get certain abilities that give you healing with each enemy kill. Now, mind you, this is very element based. And the first element cores that I decided to acquire were the earth element. And depending on how many cores you get, will make those cores powerful. Leave up to 6 will give you a new ability, and then 2, yeah, it's like it goes 2, 4, 6 when you get different abilities. And you can also go to a shop where you either buy other cores, and then you can break down cores if you got the same level of cores to make a new core. So level 1s can make a level 2, level 2s can make a level 3, and so forth, as you can see. So the combat is pretty tamed. You got your sprint button for A, which is also your dodge. You move in a weird lateral way, which like she only face forward and back. She doesn't face in all directions, which kind of is buggy, but so far the levels haven't been that crazy and or linear except for this final boss fight where I fought this worm. And some of the worms are facing like upwards, but you have to get kind of sideways to attack, which is frankly annoying to me. You got your light attack, you got your heavy attack, and then you got your special abilities, which you can combine to do a bigger attack. It kind of plays like a mobile game. Icons are X, A, L, B, R, B. But now, if you want to use your super attack, you can combine Y plus RB to do an animated cutscene attack. Each level will grant you different treasures for your backpack, but it wasn't really explaining how I use those passive abilities but it seemed like they just activate either way. But like I said, with the elements that you gain, the experience, it's actually pretty self-explanatory in a sense. The good news is that once I beat the game and I saw the other weaponries that you can use, I was actually quite intrigued because at first you're just using gauntlets, which I don't mind because I like punching things. And as I said, with the elements, I'm using 5 earth elements and 2 green elements, which is plant based. And they, with those 2 combined, gave me whips that will automatically attack enemies. I wish they moved around more, like homing attacks in some way, where they'll just grow in certain areas where the enemies pop up and attack them. But like I said, the combat is pretty fun though, especially when you gotta face the boss fights. And if you do a perfect dodge, that can actually bring in big damage, which is nice. So you got 2 menu options in the demo, where I had my attributes and the elements. Yeah, my attributes will show status effects like core embedding, and then it'll also show my weapon ability. Is my damage, and since I picked up certain I want to say equipment that gave me extra thunder flare, and I became pretty powerful before I made to the last boss. Well, all in all, for a roguelike, this is pretty good and intuitive, and I'm sure that there's going to be more difficulty. And you can actually hit LT to see Earth Affinity that you get. So at 2 pieces, you generate Absolute Shield. 4 pieces, 50% chance to regenerate when injured, deals 600% of max HP. And 6 pieces, Absolute Shield. Upon shattering, triggers 6 Rolling Stones, dealing 600% damage. It's pretty nice. So mix and match stones to get the type of elements or abilities that you want to proceed and go through. Now, some of the element cores were already locked, which I noticed, and I feel like they will open up as you progress because real talk, you're gonna be a powerhouse in any roguelike. And I did buy some items that gave me the ability to revive myself or replenish my health upon enemy kills. Like I said, this was pretty first impression demo, and I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too bad. Full release yet to be determined. I didn't see anything on the full release yet, but special shout out to the people at Lurkit for giving me this copy to try. And I'm gonna see where this goes because I'm actually intrigued. Playing it was pretty nice, pretty smooth. It wasn't too laggy, especially when it comes to the dodge mechanics and the attacks. I might remap things to see if I can get a better feel of it to have a lot of them on the face buttons, especially LB and RB. LB is your heavy attack, and RB is your special ability, which you can burn, but you gotta wait until your meter goes higher so you can do the extra cutscene. So in total, you'll have 10 slots to use. So far, 4 of those slots were locked. And I had a lot of stuff in my backpack that seemed like they're passive. Because I was trying to figure out how to activate them, but they just in there. Kind of weird. But hopefully with the full release, it's going to be more intuitive. And animation is not too bad. Nothing to really look at, but for a roguelike, top-down, asymmetric, I give it props. First impressions, not too bad. We want to see what happens with the full release and check back for my full review. But once again, thank you all for watching and supporting my content. Special shout out to all my Patreons. And I will see y'all in the next video. Beast out.
So remember, no surrender.